There's a grey area in CSGO that lies somewhere between legitimate play and cheating. I'm talking about scripts, where you get the computer to do stuff for you to make your life easier. This could range anywhere from buying weapons at the press of a button, which I think we'd all agree is okay, all the way to Autofire and Bunnyhop scripts. It's easy to see why this can be controversial. It gives players an advantage. I've covered this before in previous videos and have even used them myself, using a script that makes me run forwards, jump, and then throw a grenade perfectly every time, so all I have to do is to get into the correct starting position to pull it off. The real question is, where do you draw the line? What counts as cheating, and what's simply making the most of little advantages that, if you don't use, somebody else will? A number of mice, for example, have an auto-fire button, and many more can be programmed to help to spam the jump button to help you to bunny hop across the level. Are these devices supposed to be banned by Valve? How would they even enforce this? I suspect that tournaments will ban the use of certain scripts, but in online play it will probably remain a free-for-all. People are going to continue to use them unless Valve does something about it. In my opinion, they should. But instead of banning the use of scripts, we need to see why people use them and whether they are, in fact, a sign of a broken game mechanic. If people need a script to throw a certain grenade, then perhaps that's because the jumping system is inconsistent. If bunny hop scripts help us, then maybe, once again, it's CSGO's jumping mechanics that need changing. If Valve really wants to counter scripting, then they need to remove the advantage that these scripts give us. We need to see them as a symptom of an underlying problem with the game. Take Autofire, for example. You'd think that it would give you a huge advantage, but it rarely does because of the way that accuracy works in the game. In fact, with most weapons we deliberately try to limit how much we shoot, though I find the Tech 9 an exception to this, and it's currently super fun to use in Autofire mode, which probably says more about the Tech 9 than it does about Autofire. I think the same principle should be applied to grenade throwing binds. They don't exactly take away from the skill, you still have to research and memorise these throws after all, but they do remove the luck element. Why should there even be this random aspect to it in the first place? A few weeks ago, Olaf Meister from Fnatic asked for jump scripts to be banned, and Reddit agreed, but I don't see that as a proper fix. Those looking for the advantage will still find ways around it. For cheating, Valve has VAC to act as a deterrent, but I don't think that they need to go that far to deal with scripting, since it would catch out a lot of potentially innocent users. We should see the use of scripts not as a cheat, but as a sign that the original game isn't automating a function that should be. Anders raised a good point. He said that they should make non-scripted jump throws consistent so that, with practice, anybody could rely on them. This would both render scripts obsolete and would improve the game at the same time. Everybody loves seeing a cool smoke. Valve simply needs to make learning scripts more hassle than learning how to do the same things without them. And if that results in a playstyle that doesn't fit in with the theme of CSGO, then what's it doing there in the first place? And the same applies to bunny hopping, the ultimate grey area. Anybody who says that they can pull it off every time is lying. There is a skillful element to it, but also way too much luck involved in landing even a handful of consecutive jumps. Scripts, and worse, are just begging to be used. Valve have already majorly nerfed bunny hopping when compared with the source. I say that they should either do away with it entirely, or make it easier for somebody willing to practice bunny hops to be able to do it without these aids. Hopefully this can be resolved without destroying bunny hop servers. I don't see why they should be caught in the crossfire of something that isn't theirs to deal with. But back to competitive, it's simply asking for trouble to have a feature like bunny hopping in a game, then expecting people using Overwatch to determine whether they think it's automated or not. I dread to think of how many false positives there have been from the system. It's a sign of broken game mechanics, and the problem isn't going to go away until Valve changes how the game works.